Don't be like that, mate.
What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear about the X-Men movies? Some would say the franchise that ruined Deadpool before making him cool again, but thankfully, most would say it's the Wolverine. X-Men has men, well, mutants, but Wolverine has always been the only superhero that's gone on to become as popular as the likes of Iron Man, Spider-Man, or Batman. Logan has survived it all, from World War II to X-Men Origins. So when 17 years, 11 appearances, and a few broken bones later, Hugh Jackman decided to call it a day, we were pretty emotional. 2017's Logan was Jackman's last rodeo as the clawed brute, and what an epic send-off it was. Wolverine's last hurrah was a gritty tale set as a dystopian western. It was an incredible movie filled with moments that we can revisit every day. So without further delay, let's check out the top 10 badass moments from Logan. Starting off this list is the opening bloodbath. Logan opens up with a bang. Right from the first scene, we realize that it's not going to be your regular run-of-the-mill superhero flick. So Logan's now a limousine driver, and thugs sure love a nice little limousine to steal now, don't they? A tottering Logan comes out of the car and gets into a brawl with the gun-wielding thugs. Pretty easy for Logan, you'd think, right? Wrong, because he's old, he's weary, and his regenerative powers have gone to the dogs. So it takes a few bullets and kicks to awaken the beast in him, but when it does, it is of course glorious. Logan rampages through a bloody fight, shredding the bodies and crushing the skulls with his claws. It's dark, it's gory, and it's the Wolverine we all know. The bloodbath sets the tone for a bloody good film.
We should help them.
No, we have to keep going. Someone will come along.
Someone has to come along.
Logan is a film of lasts. It's not only the last time that we see Wolverine in the X-Men series, it's also the movie that shows Charles Xavier on his last legs. This is a professor that's totally different from the ones we've seen and grown accustomed to. He's not the all-knowing, stoic father figure helping young mutants out anymore. He's old, he's cranky, and he's a senile old man losing his mutant powers. But this scene is particularly beautiful because this is where we see the old Charles Xavier doing his favorite thing one last time: helping others. Charles uses his telepathic powers to get inside the heads of the scared animals and brings them to safety. Amidst the depressing events of Logan, the horse scene is a moment of reassurance, a calm reminder of the bygone days, and one last act of kindness by Professor X.
Beware the light.
Coming in next is Beware the Light. In a film titled Logan, it takes a special something to make a memorable scene without Logan, and Caliban is here to the rescue. As the protector of the old Charles Xavier, Caliban not only withstands the painful seizures of the Professor, but also tracks mutants with his psionic powers. So Pierce uses his power to track mutants by exposing him to the sun and taunting him by saying,
Beware of the light.
the same phrase that spells doom for the Reavers later on. When Pierce betrays Caliban by attacking Logan and Xavier, Caliban takes his revenge by blowing himself out in order to kill Pierce. Caliban is supposed to be a greedy merchant, but his humble transformation in Logan and loyalty to Charles make him a fan-favourite character. Even though he was unsuccessful at killing Pierce, the heroic sacrifice in the epic revenge line makes it to our list.
I did something unspeakable.
At number 7, Professor X confesses. If you've been paying attention so far, you'd know that Charles Xavier is a mutant that you just don't mess with. Despite the calm demeanor, the wheelchair-bound mutant is one of the deadliest ones out there. Logan establishes the destructive nature of Professor's brain by hinting at the Westchester incident. A telepathic mutant with degenerative brain disease and uncontrollable psionic seizures doesn't actually spell good news for people closer to him, and that's exactly what happened. Even though the movie doesn't show it, Charles remembers what he did. The Westchester incident is the event when Charles's uncontrollable seizure burst through the roof and killed fellow mutants right in front of him. The comforting good guy turning into a mass murderer and then finally realizing the death he caused sure was powerful.
I remembered what happened in Westchester.
Move! Go!
The first glimpse of X-23 takes the next spot. Logan was setting up the introduction of Laura aka X-23 in a major way. And what a glorious intro it was. Laura's Logan's biological daughter, so she has all the awesome powers of Wolverine and then some. She's been conditioned to be a brutal killing machine, and like an animal threatened, she just starts a bloody rampage. Laura is incredibly quick and lethal and makes short work of Pierce's men in this fast-paced scene. Laura's claws are as awesome as Logan's as we see her going through a gory killing spree, and her regenerative skills are so on point that she survives a blow from a harpoon gun by plucking the bloody harpoon from her own chest. She's definitely Logan's daughter, no DNA test needed. Next up is Logan versus X-24. To give Logan a solid send-off, you need a solid villain. X-24 is the formidable killing machine that can trump the ruthless brutality of a young Wolverine. It's basically Logan, but on steroids. So when they finally clashed, it was bloody spectacular. This was a hugely anticipated one, and it didn't disappoint. Laura's captured and ready to be taken away when Logan wreaks havoc on his evil counterpart. He shreds him to pieces and impales the bejewels out of him, but it didn't do jack shit. X-24 just shrugged it off like an insect and rains carnage on Logan. His chest, his back, and even his underarm got impaled like Ned Stark's head. It's all claw and blood. It's depressing to see Logan getting shredded to pieces like that, so seeing the X-24 getting impaled to a frigging harvester was a little bit of a breather.
Logan.
Up next is the death of Charles Xavier. Now that we've finally introduced X-24, let's talk about him more. Charles Xavier, aka Professor X, has been the mainstay of the X-Men saga. We've practically grown up watching him all these years, so when it's about time he closes his eyes for one last time, we're drowning in tears. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, the death of Charles Xavier was a momentous scene, and it was gut-wrenching too. Logan is a chaotic film, but the Munson family dinner was one of the most beautiful and comforting moments of this movie. But of course, X-24 had to come and literally killed the whole family. Charles doesn't realize he's not talking to his old friend anymore, and X-24 impales him like he meant nothing. The Leviathan falls without much fanfare. So brutal. Logan later says, "It wasn't me, and it just killed me." They always promised one last trip together on a boat under the sun. Charles finally dies in Logan's hands, imagining he's the Sunseeker.
The Sunseeker.
So far, we've seen Logan either getting his ass handed to people or getting himself shredded to pieces. But he's still Logan, he's still the brutal Wolverine. So when we hear a rampaging roar in the woods, we know he's back. The Wolverine. The serum worked like a charm. The mutant kids are hunted down by Dr. Rice's men, and the old, weak Logan can't keep up with them. So he takes a punch of the serum, and for a brief period of time, we get to see the old Wolverine in action, clawing his way through the enemies and ravaging them to pieces. Even his wounds healed instantly too, and as die-hard Logan fans, we couldn't have asked for more. In the runner-up spot, we have Professor X's seizure. Time and again, Professor X has shown us how destructive his power can be. The Westchester incident may have been the more cataclysmic of the two, but the casino seizure scene is the one we actually get to see. So thanks to a little brain disease, Charles Xavier just loves to throw tantrums and have some occasional seizures, but it's no fun and games for those who are near him. Basically, he releases an incredible amount of psionic energy that freezes every living creature and makes them go through intense vibrations. Logan painfully surges through the waves as he leaks the heads and hearts of the bad guys with his claws. Till Charles is given his medication, the powerful seizure scene makes up for a gory little fest. At number 1 we have the death of Wolverine. Everything was building up to this, and we still hoped that it didn't happen, but it had to happen eventually. Wolverine finally meets his end, something he'd been preparing himself for decades. X-24 brutally injures Logan, impales him on the trunk of a tree, and just leaves him to die. Wolverine finally succumbs to his injuries, the very thing he was cursed to endure. The bloody and battered Logan is counting his last breath, and Laura comes up to him in what could be the most emotional goodbye in cinema. The X logo over his grave was a beautiful gesture, and it reminded us all the awesome moments Wolverine has given us with the X-Men. Logan takes his last breath, holding his daughter's hand, holding his heart in this hand. Wolverine finally dies, and with him, a piece of our childhood. Logan is such a perfectly crafted movie that it works on so many levels. As a gory western and as a superhero thriller, Logan is definitely right up there, but it will always be remembered as the perfect ode to Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. Such an amazing character deserves only an amazing send-off, and fortunately we witnessed one of the best comic book movies ever made. So what's your favourite moment from Logan? Tell us in the comments section. Like and share the video with Wolverine fans, and don't forget to check our amazing X-Men series of videos. Subscribe to our channel TV Regent, because we'll come with more amazing videos like this one.